How's it going, everyone? It's Mike with This Old Hot Rod. I'm in the garage. It's after work on Thursday, and it's been kind of raining all day, so I'm not going to be moving anything really outside yet. But what I need to do is, in order to kind of get things outside so I can clean the shop, I need to move the motor. I got to put the motor on some type of a dolly, and I'm just going to roll the axle out of the garage. I went to Tractor Supply and picked up 5-inch caster wheel that spin and have a locking brake on them. I need to make a body trolley for the car, for the 34. I had one that I built years ago, but I ended up kind of giving it away with a body that I sold at Carlisle. It was a 38 Ford cabover, a COE. I strapped it to the dolly to get it to Carlisle. I planned on taking it off, but the guy needed it, so it went with the body. So that being said, I need to build another one. So I got those. I have some scrap. I want to say scrap. I have a lot of decent lengths of steel that Brad Barrows, the person who I bought the gentleman I bought the 34 Coupe from, gave me, because he said he was kind of on his way out of building, building cars and chassis and whatnot. And he had a pretty substantial pile of metal, so he kindly donated the metal to me. So I'm going to use some of that material that I have out back in the big shop to fabricate a body cart for the 34. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the wheels up. I'm going to make two almost axles, so to speak, and then I'll build stanchions up off of that. But I want the axles wider than the actual body and chassis for stability reasons. So I'm going to get the main axle built first, get my vertical posts built, and then kind of figure out how I'm going to do it. I don't know if I'm going to build it so it's exact to the dimension on the frame. I kind of think I need to, because the car is so heavily channeled. I don't know as if I'll be able to just build like straight, like a platform, and set the body on it, because I think it'll hit the bottom of the body. So I'll figure it out as I go, like I always do. So let's do that. Something a little different, but it has to be done. It just has to be done. Hi, puppy! Hi, big dog! What are you doing? Are you running around? Are you being crazy? Yeah? Where's the little one? Where's the little potato? There he is. What's up, Wessie? Hi, my bud. Oh, I picked this up today. In my travels. Bought this off of a guy a couple towns over. He had it for sale on Facebook. It's a commercial clothing rack. I'm going to use it to hang parts from for painting. They don't have anything to really hang parts from, and I don't want to paint stuff on a table and have to flip it over and stuff like that. Now I have a nice cart that I can paint on. Pumped! Hi, Wes. So like I said, it's kind of gray out. It's still kind of misting. So I said I'm not gonna move anything out yet today. I just need to get the car out so I can move some stuff out. I can move the rear axle assembly out. I can start cleaning that outside and then move it in if it rains. But I just need some working room, and I gotta build a cart. Isn't that cool? Yeah! Awesome! Watch out, Wessie. Watch out, bud. So I messaged Andy Kohler today on Instagram to get his shipping address to get the axle shipped down to him so he can rebend it. So hopefully that won't take too long. I'm sure he's busy. I don't know how often he sets his jig up and bends axles. So I'm hoping that's something he can do somewhat in short order. It's going to take me a little while to get everything done on the Coupe, but I figured now's the perfect time to get that axle sent out to him. And he's an East Coast hot rodder, and I want to support an East Coast guy. I like the work that he does, and I honestly like the way he does it, which is just the old school way, which I'm all about. So I just sent him a message. I'm hoping to hear back from him soon. just to keep the ball rolling, you know? It's all about keeping the ball rolling. Speaking of the ball rolling, Wes, let's go get some metal, bro. Let's go get metal. A YouTube viewer came to the house, geez, probably about a month and a half ago now, maybe a little over a month maybe. And he took the axles from the Doodle Bug. I gave him the wheels, the axles, and a bunch of other parts from it, and he brought me some gloves. So thank you, I appreciate it. This is my first time wearing them. Let's go get some metal. I'll take you guys with me. Let's go for a walk. There's the new truck. There's the new, this old hot rod rig. I picked this up the other day. I haven't really been in the shop much, and this is why. Spent 2 days at the dealership. Not so much haggling. The guys were great up there at the dealership that I purchased the truck at. But we had to go back a few times just because, you know, things just don't always go as smooth as you want. And, you know, banks involved and whatnot. But this is my new truck, the 2500 High Country HD. It's got the Duramax Allison transmission. What I really like about it is the chocolate interior. It's just a beautiful truck. Super happy with it. And this thing's gonna tow the new trailer that I got recently. I did some bartering with my brother of all people. There's the 49 Caddy. So I did some bartering with my brother and was able to get this 18-foot enclosed car trailer from him. It's set up for motocross because my brother and I, as some of you know, raced motocross a good portion of our lives. So we've been involved in the dirt bikes, but this is going to be my swap meet, parts hauler / dirt bike carrier and whatnot. So all right, let's go this way. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted a new truck, just so I could have a heavier truck to tow with, because this is a pretty substantial trailer. All right, so this metal is sitting outside, as you see. I got to I want to pick some of the stock that's kind of all the same, and something that will be substantial enough to hold that body and chassis. I know it's not all that heavy, but I still want something that's not going to buckle or anything. Something that I can get a good weld on, you know. One, I think I have two. Watch out, Mr. Nosy. Watch out. Nothing in there, bud. Watch out. Alright. Alright, so it looks like I got plenty. So I'm going to get this up into the shop. I'll get some measurements made, figure out exactly where I have to cut things. I'll get all my pieces cut ahead of time. And then I'm just going to clean up the areas that I'm going to weld it. And I'm just going to weld it together. It's not going to be anything super fancy, but I'm building it out of necessity. And then what I'm going to do is when I get it on the body, or get this underneath the chassis, I'll probably just throw a couple little tack welds just to make sure it's not going to move. And then after everything's painted, I'll paint the car on this chassis, on this dolly, and then after it's painted, I'll cut the tack welds, you know, lift the chassis off, move the car, and then I'll just have 4 little spots where the posts meet at the top, where they meet to the chassis. I'll just have to touch those areas up. But yeah, it's probably the best way to do it, so that's how I'm going to do it. What do you think? Can the old man still do it? Ugh. Woo. I don't move like I used to. It's nice to not have to go to the steel company to buy metal for projects like this. Oh, it's the same, I guess. 49 Cadillac. I'll sell it cheap. Needs body work. Older restoration. Tires hold air, brakes aren't stuck. The list goes on and on. All right, let's get this steel up to the house. Big teeth, big teeth. You're too big. Hey, get silly. Get silly. That's my finger. Don't hurt my finger. Quick. Roll it back a little just to give myself just a little bit of room. That's plenty. Alright, so I'm just going to make some quick measurements. Get these pieces of steel cut real quick. Whoop! Alright. Alright, I gotta go get my like a stand with the wheel so I can hold that steel up as it's cutting. So grab one of those and then, like I said, make some quick measurements and get the horizontal axles built. The axle, so when I say axle, these are just going to weld to the bottom of it. I'll have one beam going across, two wheels in the front, stanchions, and then a platform, I don't know. Something to tie the front wheels and the back wheels together. So I may just have a base and then 4 posts with a small little flat piece of steel to tack the body onto. My buddy just stopped by and I picked up some camera gear from him. He's a videographer for a little while, but he got out of the business. Alright, so I got my little stand set up. Just the stand that carpenters use for, you know, working with the 2x4s or, you know, whatever they're cutting. I use that and have it set up for my bandsaw. So I'll make some quick measurements, figure out how wide I want to make this. Probably going to be about, I want it, like I said, to be wider than the car itself. If I were to make it 5 feet wide, if I were to make this 5 feet wide, maybe 5.5, I'm just going to weld these casters right to it, and then I'll build my, yeah, whatever. Maybe I'll put them on after. I gotta grab a different camera. So I got my 2 horizontal pieces that I'm going to have the wheels attached to, the casters. So now what I need to do is make the length that I need to go underneath the car. Quick measurement. How long do I want this to be? Let me say 6 feet. 6 feet? Alright, so I'm going to cut these pieces of stock 6 feet. Alright, so I'm going to make some measurements real quick.
I was walking out one evening late, the moon was rising high, headed for the riverside, around us fuss and fight. Patrolman, he walked by, asked me where I'm going, said if the sun set on me there, I'd never make it home.
Hey everyone, I'm back in the garage. Gonna get to work a little bit more on my dolly. I'm a little concerned. I'm gonna end up making it a little too wide, but I guess I can always cut it down after the fact if it ends up being too wide. So what I need to do is find the center point on these two pieces, and then I'm going to measure the width that I need them. I'm going to measure the width that I need them. Depending on the location, they're going to be the distance, the width of the frame rails. Cut. So 66. Dusty in here. That SCT works good. It kicks up a pretty good dust cloud. I'm going to go right behind the wishbone mounts. So I want to be 33 inches wide total. So that's 16 and a half. That'll be the outside edge. So I want them here. Instead of cleaning it up here and losing my marks, I'm just going to roll it to the side. Okay, so now this. Leftover.
There's trouble on the rise. The bad men in the shadows, and they're bound to take your life. But if you mind to ramble, I'll tell you how I do. Keep your money in your pocket.
So this is where my layout's going to be for my cart. For my chassis cart, I'm going to get these welded where they're at, flip it over, clean up the caster wheels for the SCT, get those welded onto the underneath, and then build my uprights wherever they're going to be. Ah!
Slipping silent through the creek, hounds to lose my scent. I went up a tree and I watched them turn, wondering where I went. I take a rest, I hold my breath, I let it simmer down. I climb too high.
So I'm going to try to put it in my vise. I don't exactly know how good it's going to go. I feel like it's not going to work very good. But it's worth a shot. You know? I'll try it. So it's just going to take a quick second if it works. work. Alright. Let me flip this over real quick. Okay, so what I've got done so far is I have the main dolly welded together. So now what I need to do is I need to measure for my stanchions and get those cut down. It's really chilly today, so I want to try to keep the garage door closed if I can. So I know I need my 2 back stanchions. So my 2 front stanchions are going to be 14 inches tall each. So that's 28 inches total. So I have that measurement there. So I'm going to do my rear stanchions at 22 inches tall. Trying to keep this from hitting the valve cover on the motor. Hanging over the motor. I got these, the tops of the cart where the stanchions are going to weld to. I got those cleaned up with the SC2 real quick while this was cutting. Alright, first one cut. I'll slide this off of here. I'm going to cut the back 2 first. 22 inches roughly. Bandsaw's just a little slow. It's a great machine, but when you're in a hurry, it's a little slow. Alright, I'm going to get this cleaned up real quick and then get it tacked on right here.
I wonder now, despite the lights of town. They said don't go downtown tonight, there's trouble on the rise. The bad men in the shadows, or they're bound to take your life. But if you mind to ramble still, I tell you how to do. Keep your money in your pocket, boy, and the razor in your shoe. There's trouble on the rise. Bad men in the shadows is bound to take your life.
So what I need to do, I'm going to cut the front stanchions 14 inches. And then after I get those welded on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my angle finder and figure out the angle of the frame where they're going to attach. So I can then cut them and then put a small piece of plate on top of each post, on top of each stanchion. And that's where I'll tack weld the chassis to. Underneath, I'll just do a few tacks on each side of the plate.
What are you doing?
Cutting metal, kid. What are you doing? Good.
I'm working. Babe, this is cool.
Yeah, I figured we'll put a motor on it after I'm done. We can drive it around the yard.
You should have let me weld it. Because you don't really care about it.
Yeah.
Next
time.
Then I could learn how to weld. I mean, unless you want me to weld on the car.
Yeah, I'd rather you just work on the car instead. You just do the firewall for me.
Okay. What if I did a super good job?
You just get it done. Break that axle assembly down so I can send it to Andy Kohler. The front axle. Need to get that axle out.
What?
You can do that. Take that all apart.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How much did you pay me?
I'm not paying you shit.
Yeah, I better get a commission off
You
you.
get commission.
Oh, I do?
Food.
No, you.
Tea.
I'm sorry. You get commission.
Oh, look at that.
I cook for you.
Gotta get out of here. It's gonna get dusty. Let's get that welded. Come on, let's do it. Let's go. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to get the tops of these posts cut at an angle. This angle right here is the angle that I need. At 90 degrees, this is the angle I need. I've already transferred them over to the stanchions. So now I'm going to kind of eyeball it and get them cut. I can't cut through both sides at the same time, so I got to try to get both sides close. And then I'll get the front ones are flat, so those are fine, but the backs need to be cut at a little bit of an angle. So what I'll do then is I'll pick it up, bring it around the back of the car, set it down. I'll get my chain fall to the back of the car. I'll lift the back of the car up, remove the jack stands from underneath the back of the car, and I'll slide the dolly underneath the car. The dolly is not going to interfere with the jack stands that are on the front at the cowl, but once I get the dolly sitting, once I get the car sitting on the dolly, I'll then just lift up the front frame rails with the chain hoist, with the chain fall, and then I'll remove the jack stands that are underneath the front of the car. And then the car should be sitting on the dolly at that point. I'll get it tacked in place, and then I'll be able to move it in and out as needed. So, I'm going to get these things cut down real quick. Get this thing over to the car. In order to do that, I gotta move this. Alright, I'm gonna get chain fall back here so I'm gonna lift it the same way I did the other day. Have that little scary moment. Just gonna wrap it around the structure that I built in the back of the car. Center the hook. Center the hook on the center of the back of the car. So because the car is so heavily channeled, the front stanchions won't fit under the car. Lift the dolly up so I can get it to swing under. Come on, wheels, work with me here. Alright, running into a little bit of an issue in the front. Stanchions are real tall and it's hitting the front cross member. I mean the transmission cross member. I need to lift the front of the car up at the same time I'm lifting the back of the car. And that's an issue because I can't. I didn't think of that. The only other thing I can do is cut them down. But I don't really want to. If I cut the fronts down, then the car is going to be sitting like that. And I'd rather it not, because it'll just be a pain to work on. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the car down on the dolly in the back. I'm actually going to try to lift the whole car with the chassis through the roof insert, where it's open. Try to pick the entire car up and then set it on the dolly that way. What could possibly go wrong? Do it that way because I don't want to go into the bottom. So the only place I can really pick it up is right here. I mean, it should be okay. Cars aren't that big. You just have to kind of balance it. Oh, the door's open, that's why. Alright, well the front's definitely high enough now, but I think what's going on is it's hung up on the back, so I'm just going to lift the back up real quick. Actually, my phone's ringing because it's just the perfect time to get a phone call. Spam risk. We don't answer those because it's a spam risk. Alright, so I'm just going to slowly lift the body up off the dolly. Slide this dolly forwards, roughly to the location I had planned on it landing, which is here. If my measurements are correct, it should land on the chassis. These brakes on real quick so I can adjust it. Okay, so you can see that the car now is sitting on the dolly. It's tack welded in 4 places, 1 tack on each little bracket. What I ended up doing is I took a piece of angle iron, I'll show you real quick. So on top of each stanchion, I ended up putting a piece of angle iron. So the angle iron fits this way on this side and this way on this side. So the stanchions are held up against the inside of the frame rail. And then I just put I welded the stanchion to the bottom of this angle iron, and then I just put a tack on each corner of the car. I'll take you for a quick walk and show you. So you can see exactly what it looks like. It's nothing pretty, but again, it's just enough to hold it in place so things don't move. I already put the deck lid down. So you can see that one down there. I cut these stanchions, you can see this angle. I cut them to sit back here behind the cross member, but I didn't like the position of where they were on the front of the car, so I ended up rolling the entire chassis cart forwards about 6 inches. So what I ended up doing was just welding this angle iron to it, and I never corrected that angle, but it's welded on there. These cars aren't that heavy, so I'm not too concerned about it. And if in the event something does break or crack, I can just modify it at that time. The car is sitting on the dolly. What I need to do next is I need to get the chain fall back up here, hoist up this motor, put that on a separate dolly on its own. I'll move the motor to the side, and then I just want to get some stuff out of the garage this afternoon while the sun's still shining, and get this garage kind of cleaned out and organized. I got a couch back there that I used to kind of, I spent a lot of time in the winters out here, and I would sit on the couch and watch TV while I was working on cars, and you know, before YouTube. Can't really do that now because I can't have a TV show on the TV, and I can't even have a radio going. So unfortunately, the couch really doesn't get much use. Rear axle, I want to get that in front of the car so I can roll that in and out so I can clean it. I just ordered new wheel cylinders, new brake shoes, new drums, new emergency brake cables, these rubber little, I don't know what they're called, little things that go over the brake cables. I ordered an emergency brake, the equalizer. I ordered all the parts that would have been from a 57, 58 Chevy Impala, I believe, was what the rear axle came from underneath. I ordered all those parts this morning on Rock Auto, plus a bunch of other stuff. So I'll be able to get that rear axle completely rebuilt and painted and be done with it. So that'll be ready to go. So once that's painted, I'll roll that out into the big shop, leave that there while I'm working on the body of the car. One of my next things to do is I think I am going to put the firewall in the car. I've kind of been tossing back and forth to figure out exactly what I've kind of figured out that installing the firewall isn't really gonna hold me up. I do have to sandblast it, the backside of it, but after I sandblast it, I'll be able to get that welded in the car. And that was another reason why I wanted the dolly further back underneath the body of the car, so I had full access to the firewall. So on the firewall itself, I'll have the toe boards where the pedals are going to be. That was the reason why I didn't want to get the firewall installed, was because of the pedals. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave those toe boards off for now, and I'll add those after. But I can at least get the firewall itself in the car. The transmission tunnel is its own separate piece now, so that's not going to interfere with anything. That'll go in after the fact. Same as the floorboards, that'll all go in after the fact, once everything's painted and before its final assembly. So that's it. I whipped up a quick body dolly, body cart, chassis cart thing, and that's going to be the end of the video. I'm just going to leave it bare metal for now. It's going to be in a garage. As I'm painting the car with the sealer, I'll probably hit that real quick with the sealer just to seal it in, just so it doesn't get any worse or rust when it's outside. Besides that, that's pretty much it. Now it's continue cleaning and you know, the body, the garage and whatnot, and then get this thing into sealer. I'm a little bit further back behind. You know, life just never goes the way you hope it does. You know, when I say, hey, I'm about 2 days away, I never thought about building a cart. You know, so now that added an additional day, and you know, 2 calendar days would be nice, but unfortunately with the way things are right now with my work and everything, 2 calendar days just isn't realistic. So it's 2 days worth of work, but it might take me a week to get those 2 days done. And I know you guys are good about it, and I appreciate it. So thanks again. I appreciate everyone following along. A lot of new subscribers. I'm just scratching the 5,000 subscriber mark, which is pretty cool. I think what I'll do is I'm going to do a giveaway, 5,000 subscriber mark. Check the website. I now have hoodies and hats. Those are going to be up on the website pretty soon if they're not already. I'll notify you guys on YouTube in the community. Check the community page on YouTube for This Old Hot Rod. I don't do a daily post, but I try to post up frequent whenever I think of it, when it's on my mind, whenever something's not quite video worthy, but it's at least something I want to put up to you guys so you can see what's going on, or notify you guys on something that's going on. So keep an eye on the community page, and thanks for sticking around and watching me get this 34 put back on the road.
There's trouble on the rise. Bad man in the shadows is bound to take your life. If you mind around still, I'll tell you how to do. Keep your money in your pocket, then the rest in your shoe. Keep your money in your pocket, son, and the rest in your shoe.
This thing's gonna look pretty amazing rolling down the road when that time comes. I can't wait. I gotta fix the spring inside that door latch. Well, as you can see, the chassis cart is a success. It worked exactly how I wanted it to. I have all 4 wheels rotate and lock, so I can kind of spin it around and do whatever I need to do when the time comes. Yeah, so all in all, I think it worked out pretty good. It was a quick project. Probably only took me 3 or 4 hours tops. I didn't really keep track of my time, but I think that's probably about what it took. And it really didn't cost me much money besides the wheels. The wheels were, I think, $17 a piece at Tractor Supply. They're 5-inch caster wheel with the lock. And that's about it. So about 60 bucks. I had the steel from Brad from when I bought the car, so it was just fitting to use the metal that I got with the car to build a chassis card out of. So thanks everybody. Thanks again for watching. Appreciate it. And it's time to get the garage cleaned. See you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.